Goldie Behl, welcome to CNN News 18. Goldie, your latest venture is called RosePod, which is a series of podcasts available on these music streaming platforms like Apple, Spotify, JioSaavn, Hangama. I've only listened to a bit of Safarnama and I really liked it. So first,
Nice.
congratulations for the new venture. And how happy are you with the response to your audio series?
We're very, very excited. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for appreciating Safarnama. We're very, very excited, because I think audio streaming is still nascent in India in the digital sphere. But telling stories and stories moving on by voice, is something that is very, very traditional in the Indian ethos. And more than stories being written and stories move forward from spoken to hear, and that's how they go through generations. So as a civilization, we are very, very attuned to listening to stories, unlike the West probably. But it's very, very exciting because we're seeing a good, very, very encouraging response, especially in non-metro cities as well. So it's new, it's exciting, it's something comforting, and these are stories that are meant for how would you say it, to a larger heartland and to a larger audience than just the urban audience. Of course, the urban audience will also enjoy it, but it's targeted more towards the main heart of Bharat, as you may call it.
Are you also planning to collaborate with the storytellers? Like one I know is Fozia Dastango. She actually tells stories based out of Old Delhi.
So, what we are doing, Vishal, is that audio. We are not doing music as yet on RosePod, but the idea for audio, what our research tells us and what our abilities tell us, is that audio is basically divided between a kind of audience that listens to it out of choice, and out of wanting to listen to an audio podcast, which is more on your, like say an Apple user. And then there's an Android user. Generally, I'm saying, I'm not classifying anybody. Who there's a large segment of society which cannot necessarily consume entertainment on video on their mobiles. And they buy daily packs and stuff like that, or they run out of their data by 12 in the afternoon also sometimes. So audio is a great form of entertainment to them as well. So we will be doing talking heads as well, in the sense of narrative stories, but maybe that will be targeted more towards a slightly bit more urban crowd. And we will also be doing a lot of personality driven content as well, which is your non-fiction content, which is targeted more towards the urban gentry audience. So yeah, we are dividing it into that kind of a thing. So it's very, very exciting, and let's see, let's hope. We at the moment, all our some of our fiction titles are out. We're out with about 10 titles, which is about almost 80 to 100 episodes are out there streaming. And we're building on that. Our target is to bring out close to 100 titles, in this year.
How many languages are you planning to release them apart from Hindi?
We have already started Tamil and Telugu of the existing Hindi content. Where we're converting those stories into getting the regional or the local ethos into it. So there is like an Ashwathama mythology show that we're doing. We're doing a whole series on these immortals. So the first one being Ashwathama, which is broken into two parts. The first part is out. That we've dubbed into Telugu. We've got a great response to that. We're going to do that in Tamil as well. We did we are targeting more into Telugu, Tamil, and then Bengali.
So then, which are the stories you want to tell with RosePod? And according to you, which are the stories you think that are suitable for an audio series?
So,
Like, what is the story you like to tell with your this new venture? What is the strategy?
the strategy is to basically, when we're talking about fiction now, the fiction stories that we would like to tell are stories that, are not being told on OTT or film or even traditional linear television. So those are stories which are shorter in size. They're more snacky. They're stories that are, you can listen to while you're doing something else as well. And trying to get them as localized as possible, because I think something that is local appeals to the person from that locality and also becomes aspirational or knowledgeable for somebody out of that locality. So if you see like our love story, Insta Love, which is a series. I mean, Safarnama you did mention, but that's episodic in nature. So that's a lovely theme that my content guy came up with, Tamir, and where. So Insta Love I was talking about, it's a love story set in Agra, but it's about social media and how it is interacting and in the in a love story, almost becoming like a Cupid, you know and so that's really tracking really well in Delhi NCR and Uttar Pradesh and those areas, and so in we have a horror series which is again anthological style, which is called Horror Stories. That's tracking really well in Bengal and Kolkata and other places as well. Actually, that horror does really well on audio, because there's a kind of mood and there's a kind of world that you can build with sounds and music and silences also, with horror. So that's another genre that we are very keen on. We are pushing ahead with that. And in fact, season 2 is of Costume is also ready, which is more closer to the folklores that we have heard, and superstitions that we have heard. And are they really, is there any kind of reality to that, So, these kind of stories that are also, I think, mostly in the mythology also, very native stories, Vishal. So, which we're not getting to express. And, a lot of young, new talent, that hopefully I will convert some of these into videos as well, we are doing a YouTube channel as well with these stories, which is based off AI, so a lot of those visuals are generated by our in-house team with AI technology and, with ML and AI, working together. It might be blasphemous for me to say that as a creator, but you got to move on with time.
Good you brought AI, and actually I have a question for that. How do you think Bollywood is going to embrace the AI technology in the filmmaking process? Are there going to be job losses when it takes over the filmmaking process?
So I was currently at I was recently at at a conference where I was asked to speak about this as well. But I think that the job profiles will change. Yes, there will be traditionally how we know. So let me put it this way: when evolution happened in music and music arrangement and music recording, I remember my dad was a filmmaker, so I used to go with my father for recordings. Into Pankaj Uncle's film center, just big halls, and the entire orchestra used to be there, and all the violinists and the cello players and the trumpet players and the saxophones and all that kind of stuff. So they used to all play it live right there and there, But when music technology came in, a lot of people went out of jobs, and a lot of them were called in just to sample their sounds, So you get one violinist, he plays it in 5 different ways, and you record it, you sample it, and then you play it out. So it has happened, and unfortunately, people who did not adapt with times or could not, or were, beyond the age of adaptation, technology does, kill a lot of things on its way. But it grew to something new. So there were newer people that introduced into the business who were programmers, who were, more tech oriented, who are music producers. Uh, so what I'm trying to say is that yes, there will be job losses, but there will be new kind of jobs. So there will be prompts that you require for machine learning. There might be, or there is already a new job of somebody who only prompts. So we have to start looking at it in a different way. So if something goes, something new will come.
Does it make the job of a creator then easier, or do you think it'll become more complicated when you have an AI to assist?
I think with AI coming in, a lot of
Like Sora has the latest app which is coming
yeah,
to text to
yes, yes,
individuals.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. I mean, that's still a time away, but nothing can replace originality and creativity, because AI will still depend on what it already knows. What it doesn't know is what the human mind knows, and it will, I think, give rise to more original content, more innovative content. It's like what happened to the VFX industry. The VFX became more and more superior. With VFX also using AI and a lot of other components to it. So that one original thought or an idea will have far more value than it has today. Because you can't find it on AI. Yeah.
Now you are a filmmaker, and we
Yes.
have heard that often film directors are also very great narrators.
Mm,
Like, is there
mm.
a plan to introduce another format of storytelling, like a conventional way of storytelling, where one person narrating a single story?
We are exploring that in with a writer actually. There's this female writer. I can't tell you more about it, but she wants to narrate a few crime stories of hers. And we will assist her with the BGM and everything and the sound effects and stuff like that. But yes, to answer your question, yes, we are planning to go down that route as well. Currently, they're characters and voiceover artists, but we'll actually have the writer or the director or the creative person behind and narrating it as a story.
So, is there also a plan to record some of the episodes with film stars starting?
I don't know. I don't know whether this medium as yet can afford them.
But you have
So
friends with quite a lot. Abhishek Bachchan is a childhood friend.
yeah, but this is their work. No, I mean, I don't expect anybody to do anything for me just like that. I've never expected that. So I wouldn't go down that route yet, till I can give
Sonali,
them.
at what they you have a movie star at home. Sonali,
Uh, no, no. I mean, if Sonali is planning to do a podcast, we will talk about that when we're ready with it. But that's something she's passionate about, and she wants to build a community with that. So she is planning to do something on audio.
now you belong to a film family. You're also a producer. You also collaborate with other filmmakers like Rohan Sippy and Ken Goi. Do you now know the strength of various directors with whom you collaborate as a producer?
Mm. So yeah, I mean it's great, because I get to also experience the way they approach material. So with a lot of stuff like with Ken or with Rohan, I've been show running those shows as well. So so a lot of prep we do together, and we hold each other's hands on that, and then of course the execution part of it is their domain. But just these two names that you mentioned, very different in their approaches, but eventually end up communicating really, really well. And it was quite an experience for me as well. Definitely.
Now, today, correct me if I'm wrong, do you think that OTT bubble has busted? Everything that is coming out from
I,
OTT is not really great, or
No,
what?
I don't think it is bursted. I think it is corrected.
So that is corrected.
Yes. So it is a technology that is going to survive. It is a technology that is moving forward. It is increasing every day. But the gold rush is over.
Yeah, I have to ask you, your son Ranveer is a very bright film student. I actually met him few years ago when he was judging a film festival in Italy.
Yeah.
He came back to India after judging a festival
Yes,
in
yes, 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 yes,
the Zakuni Film Festival, if I'm not
yes,
wrong.
yes, 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 yes. Correct, correct. That's
Now
right.
he'll be turning 19. Has he
Yes.
figured out the kind of films he wants to make or the genre that fascinates him a lot?
I mean, at the moment, they're young boys, so it keeps on changing for them. So as of today, he loves all genres, which is what he should be doing at this point in time. He's recently fallen in love with Pyasa, and he's watching that over and over again. At the same time, he loves all the Golmaal series, and he loves Rohit's work as well. So he's navigating his way. He'll find his genre and he'll find his medium. But one thing I can say for sure is that he does want to come back to India and make mainstream Indian films.
Today, a lot of actors from South India are collaborating with Bollywood. Are there actors whom you like to team up with from the South?
Uh, I mean, the incredible talent everywhere. I've
So
worked
you've
with
been
even
making, like you said, you're
yeah,
making series in Telugu,
yeah,
you're recording. So are there plans
yeah.
to collaborate with
Uh, yes, we are looking at doing OTT content in Telugu and in Tamil again. Again, these are the two markets that we are looking at. We are working on collaborations first with the makers, before we get into the stars. So we find the right kind of stories and the right kind of people who can execute it. I'm a little old school in that way. I always think that the story comes first and the filmmaker comes first, and then everything else follows after that. So call me a traditionalist if you want, but that's the schooling. One always tries to find the right kind of person to collaborate with. Because that's not my area of expertise as far as language and ethos goes. We've been fortunate enough to find the right kind of people to align with, and we're looking at first starting off with OTT content over there, and then slowly graduating, even in Hindi, maybe in a couple of years, come back to mainstream films as well.
And finally, do you think in India, especially in Bollywood, we haven't utilized the potential of animated feature films?
Mhm.
Do you think Indian audience will be
Yeah,
too?
our mainstream films are animated feature films only. So why would an animated feature film work? Because our logics and our belief of what our mainstream protagonist can do, whether male or female, is larger than life. So that is animated only. Like if you're jumping from one building to the other and not making it look real like a parkour sequence, it is animated only. So our love stories are also like that. So that's why I think that animation as a genre, as a technology, hasn't really worked in India as yet, especially for adult viewing, is because our mainstream films are like that. The stories are like that. The action sequences are like that. So we don't need to give it logic by making it animated. Our movies are fantastical, that way. So I'm very very proud of that.
And finally, what's in the store or the future plans for RosePod? What more audience can expect? What are your
Yeah. So like I said, we are doing a lot of non-fiction as well. Our non-fiction slate is almost ready. So we'll do a simultaneous podcast on YouTube and the streaming platforms as well. And also we'll continue with a lot of fiction accompanied by AI visuals on
love that?
on the YouTube platform, which is RosePod India, and a bit like webtoons. If you've seen webtoons, the Korean webtoons, so when I saw a webtoon on on YouTube, I thought that why can't we do stuff like that, but a little different, of course. So ours is of course a bit more grander and larger than life because we Indians are a bit dramatic.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you go to the YouTube, it will be fantastic AI visuals to it. So yeah, we're looking at growing and consolidating in these two very extreme ends of the spectrum, if you may call it, because everybody in the middle is consuming OTT content. So we go with people who we are approaching people who either cannot afford data because streaming audio is far more affordable, or we go with people who, out of choice and out of need, are reaching out and wanting to, hear something on self-help or something on, something more evolved, or in that very, very extreme ends of the spectrum.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you for taking time out and talking to me, and best of
Thank
luck.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vishal. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.